Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. So glad that you're here. Welcome to Lemon Live at 5 o'clock. Look at this beautiful. Is it fake or is it real? That's what I want you guys to answer. Is it fake or is it real? Oh my gosh. What a week it's been. I'm so glad that you're here. Look, we're, just a couple minutes late. Not that bad. Welcome to all the folks who are watching us on YouTube. Thank you. Make sure you hit the like, hit the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. You know this thing, and more people get to know and see who we are and become a part of our family. I'm serious, so that does work. If you're watching us on TikTok, make sure you smash the hearts. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, and also on Facebook. You hear those birds? You guys hear that? Can you hear that? So beautiful, Don. Are you talking about me, right? Jackie's word? That's what you're discussing. You're saying me. Me. So glad that you all are here. That's got to be fake. I don't know. You got to tell me. Is it real? Is it fake? Or I'm going to ask someone in a moment something that you guys may or may not remember. So look, I'm glad that you're here. We have a lot to get to. What a week it's been. It's Friday, and you know what that means? It means it's our time. This is our sour lemon special, everyone. This was, objectively speaking, I think you can say, the most chaotic and insane week of the second Trump term. The president of the United States crashed the global economy for seemingly no reason whatsoever. I'm not sure why he did it. He said he's got his reasons. He said, he knows better than the economists. And I don't know. I just know that the market is in free fall, and it was down more today than it was down the day before and then the day before that. Okay? So we can only either laugh or cry. And on this channel, on this show, we choose to laugh. And that's why I have a very funny man joining me this evening, breaking down all the absurdity. And that is, put him up on the screen, Mr. George Hahn. He's a writer, a humorist. He's a style consultant. He's a friend of the show. And he is a friend of mine. He did not invite me to good night and good luck last night, but that's okay. George, how you doing, my friend? We missed you.
I'm good, sir. How are you? I've missed you. I haven't seen you since no, we were at a birthday party together a little while ago.
Where were we at a birthday party?
Nellie's birthday.
Oh, that's right. I can't remember that night. Maybe like a margarita or two.
Yeah.
This is a little cider.
Yeah, this is a little. We are happy to serve you.
Yeah. So when I said someone who's going to know what I'm talking about, what did I say? Oh, shoots, I forgot. Oh, is it live or is it Memorex?
Is it? Gosh, are you and I the only ones who are going to know what the Memorex reference?
Probably. I wonder.
No.
Wait, producers, anybody? Andy, Peter, Nikki, do you guys know what? Have you ever heard of that? Is it live or is it Memorex?
I've heard that.
I've heard that before.
I have not.
Do you know what Memorex was, guys?
Yeah. Do you guys?
No.
What was
That
Memorex?
I don't know the context. I just know I've heard other people say it.
Wasn't it VHS videotape?
No.
It was a
cassette tape.
or reel to reel, or no, it was a cassette tape, and it was. Do you remember this? Ping, and she'd break the glass. George.
Yes.
Ella Fitzgerald.
We had Memorex and we had Maxell, which had the coolest ad of all of them.
Oh, Maxell. That was VHS, and what was the other one? Beta. There was Beta and there was VHS. Right? Yeah.
We had a Betamax first. That was our first machine.
Yeah. Did you have the big giant projection screen television that you had to open up like a box, like a chest?
No.
Do you remember those?
Yes, I had a friend who had one. That would have been amazing. I mean, that was always the best TV room / den to visit. Of course, but we had a floor. It was on wheels. We had a floor. We had a Sony Trinitron.
Oh my gosh, yes. Wait, on wheels that you rolled into the room?
No, because it was huge. It was like a piece of furniture, and so it was on casters. That's the way it was, mounted.
Seriously, I think our TV was like 5 feet tall. It was probably
it was heavy. Yeah, it was a piece of furniture.
It sat in the corner of our den. It was enormous. This was the projection television, and then before that, it was like the big floor TV. Remember that one? That was big.
Yes,
the entire room. So yeah, and then before that, they were on TV, and they were on TV carts, and then we had TV dinner trays. I don't know if you remember those too.
Of course I do. I still love TV dinners. The idea of them. The reality is they suck, but
yeah,
the idea is cute. Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is when back in the 70s and 80s, we already went through this whole idea about, oh, Japanese cars, foreign cars coming into the market. I thought we went through this, and here we are going through it again. For a scene setter, here is our friends over at CNBC.
Extraordinary, the declines we've seen the last 2 days in a row. And it's been uncommon to see declines like this in the past 50 years or so. In fact, the NASDAQ has only had back-to-back 5% declines 3 times ever in 87, 01, and 08. So we'll see what happens today. The S&P 500, these could be the worst back-to-back declines. One of the worst 2-day declines we've seen in the past 50 years, other than in the pandemic in 2008. So this is a big repricing. And, just to put I know the numbers are big, we're down 2,000. It's not just in points, it's also, these are in percentage terms, one of the biggest 2-day sell-offs we've really seen in recent decades.
And basically wiped out a year of gains. The S&P 500, let's not forget, is still doubled from 4 years ago, but we just took out an entire year of gain. The NASDAQ, we've taken out more than a year of gain.
Oh my gosh. George, what is going on? That's if you're lucky enough to have a savings or a portfolio, or you know what I'm saying? Or a retirement.
Make America suck like it never has before. That's what this is. I can't, where do we begin? There's a lot to unpack there. He has managed to, I'm talking about Trump, of course, has managed to dismantle so much good standing that we had as a country in such a record time. It's kind of astounding. There's this with the market, with the effects that the tariffs are having, and then just sort of our reputation globally, our relationships. Let's pick fights with friends. I mean, we can go in any direction, but the numbers that we just saw. What was it? Yesterday was the worst number in the stock,
George,
worst day in the stock market.
Look at your screen. Look at your screen. Read it.
My 401k is now a 101.
Terry Miller, you get the prize. You get the gold
That's
star.
Nice. Well done.
Amazing.
Thank you, Monique. I think yesterday was the worst day on Wall Street in 5 years or 6 years or something. It's crazy.
Today was worse.
Yes.
Today,
it's just
I think
getting
it was
worse.
down like 2,000 points or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I hate him, Jay Cohen says. I think, well, there's a sentiment from a lot of folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, can I really depress you, George?
Say it again.
Can I really depress you right now?
Hit it.
Okay, hit it, guys. Number 2.
Very much more of the same and getting worse. I'm just looking over my shoulder here, checking the board. The Dow down more than 2,000 points. The S&P down over 5.5%, and the NASDAQ also down more than 5.5%. I think one analyst, Dan Ives from Wedbush, he's an analyst there, said it best. He says he's been covering the markets and tech stocks for 25 years, and he's never seen anything like this. He referred to the dot-com bubble, the financial crisis, and COVID. He says he's never seen anything like this because this is self-inflicted, in his words, that this did not have to happen. We do not have to be seeing these numbers right now on Wall Street, but the president's trade war and the escalations that have followed have put us in this position.
Okay, there you go. Did I depress you again even more? I just put in there, my 401k is now a 001k.
I find it all very numbing over time. I mean, how many times, Don, do you look down at your phone, you see an alert, and the percentage of times that it's Trump is in the headline, the name Trump is in the headline. 2, it's a hair on fire, kind of alert. And I'm kind of numb at this point. I'm not surprised about this. I think a lot of people who know way more about this than I ever will saw this coming. People have chosen to, put their trust in non-experts. And here we are.
We're supposed to be funny today, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of hard to be funny about, because we choose to laugh. But it's kind of hard to laugh at this because there are people, and we're going to talk about it, and we'll talk shit about the people who are coming up. But there are people who are living paycheck to paycheck. Right. And I'll see something later where he tells you how long he thinks it's going to be. That's kind of like if you're getting, your house remodeled, or you're building a house, or you're getting your car repaired. Oh, it's going to be ready. It's going to take 3 months. It's going to take, the car will be ready on Friday. And then you're like, well, that was last Friday. You told me that. It's Thursday of the next week. You know what I mean? So it's going to be longer. It's going to take longer than he said. If it works. If it even works, George.
Who was the dickhead who said, my mother wouldn't, like, if she didn't get her Social Security check?
That was Lutnick. Howard Lutnick.
That winner. Wow. It's incredible to me how out of touch people are. You know what? It wasn't that long ago, Don. There were years where I would have like a checking account balance that was a 2-figure number for long stretches of time. Like paying rent was a real struggle. Rent was always late.
Look at that.
So,
we have breaking news, George.
It says
JP
now
Morgan,
U.S. recession in 20. Oh, great.
JP Morgan is saying it now projects a U.S. recession in 2025.
Oh, wonderful. These people don't know what it's like to struggle. We're taking, Trump doesn't know. He never has, never will. Scott Bessent doesn't know. Lutnick doesn't know. Right. These are all rich people. All of these, our tax code is wired to benefit the rich. Where do I begin? As I said, when I started my first answer to your first question, there are a million directions into which one could go with this, and it's all sort of rigged to benefit them.
JP Morgan now saying they're predicting
we're going to have a recession.
We're going to have a recession in 2025.
That's bleak.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we go for our sour lemon of the week?
Just one.
Is it JP Morgan now?
Just one.
We would prefer to bury our heads in the sand. We don't need to know that there's going to be a recession. Why on earth are you telling us? Thank you. And whoever in the comments said that haircut slaps. Thank you. I got a cut yesterday, but I had a fight with the barber. Have you ever? So I went to this. Okay, I'm going to get to the thing. But have you ever gone to a barber, right? I didn't go to my barber. He wasn't there. He was off. And I said, okay, can this person cut my hair, African-American hair, whatever? I don't want it cut. I just want it trimmed because I've been growing my hair. I had a little mini afro. And he goes, I'm like, didn't I tell you I didn't want to cut? And he goes, I'm just trimming it. I'm like, no, you cut it. Anyway.
Did he use clippers?
Yeah, they use clippers. And I just wanted like
what
a
number?
Shape up. I don't know. I don't know numbers. Everyone always asks. I'm like, oh, you're the barber. You're supposed to know the numbers. Don't ask me what number. I just want to cut. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the lower the number, the tighter the cut. So, watch it.
Okay.
So when he says number 2, it looks like you got like a 3 or a 4.
I don't know what I got.
And I'm guessing. Okay. It looks like you got a 3 or 4.
So why don't we start with your friend, Howard Lutnick? Okay. Here's Howard Lutnick saying, we don't have a plan for the dollar. Here it is.
Is the biggest change you're ever going to see because you have the right guy in the White House doing the right things, protecting American workers.
So it is true. It's a strategy to weaken the dollar.
It's not a strategy to weaken the dollar.
But it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan.
It is not a plan. We don't have a plan about the dollar. We have a plan about American workers. We have a plan about American factories. And these are all outcomes of stop you manipulating our currency. Stop it. Okay. And if that means the dollar goes back to where it should be because you've stopped manipulating it, it makes sense to me.
I love it. Look at her face. Did you see her face? She's like,
why is this guy? Why is he like? What is this personality? And who I'm going to be a cartoon character. Like, who is this? Who is this? Who are these people?
Look, you're gonna get over there and you're gonna buy some. Look, I got some walnuts over there too. So look, whatever you need, just tell me. You just tell me what you need.
I'm gonna look like a typical Gordon Gekko kind of gonna flick my hair back. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna be loud and big and be a bulldozer. And I'm gonna just lead with the chest, lead with the gut. And that's how I'm gonna talk.
Let's check out the fit. Let's check out the drip because it's over the top. It's got to be. I didn't even look, but there's got to be some pinstripes there. Is there some pinstripes in there? Let's look. But why don't we look in the second one? Oh no, yes. Howard Lutnick again says the Europeans may buy our beautiful beef. Let's check it out.
I'll give you some beautiful beef,
won't
Howard.
Take chicken from America. They won't take lobsters from America. They hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak.
Whose Grindr ad is he reading? Whose grinder profile are you reading, Lutnick? Our beef is beautiful. Wow.
They won't take
That's
our meat.
special.
What did they say?
Oh.
Wait, I'm gonna listen to that with a different ear again. Play it again, Sam.
Our beef is beautiful.
European Union won't take chicken from America.
They
They
like
won't
the
take
young ones.
lobsters from
They
America.
don't like the young ones,
They
right.
hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak.
Right?
You're crazy. Can you play the first one where he's on CNN? I just want to see. I want to check out. There's got to be some pinstripes.
He sounds like one of those
The
lawyer
biggest change you're ever
ads.
going to see because you have the right guy in the White House doing the right things, protecting American
So it
workers.
is true. It's a strategy to weaken the dollar.
It's
Yes.
not a strategy to weaken dollar.
But
It's a
it's part of the
strategy.
plan. It's part of the plan.
It is not a plan. We don't have a.
Okay, so contestant number
Yeah.
one, Howard Lutnick. Okay, everyone. So get ready to vote. All right, that's Howard Lutnick. Let's see. Where do we go for contestant number two? Why don't we go to our friend since you mentioned him? And what are we going to do with our brother? Because what's up with him? Scott Besson.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm going to take his gay card in a minute.
Do we claim him?
No. No.
Do you remember that guy back in the day? I'm not gay no more. Do you remember him? It was like a meme.
From
around.
where?
It was around COVID or maybe a little bit before, but he's like, I'm not gay no more. I like women's. You don't remember him? It was hilarious. You guys remember him. Tell me if you remember him and send me a link in the chat if you know who I'm talking about. It was like this church guy. He says, I'm not gay anymore. Scott Besson, I think he's on the lawn in the White House saying that we're on a trajectory towards growth. Now, I'll tell you about him afterwards. Go.
Back in 1998, you look back in 07, right before it looked great, everything collapsed. So, I mean, it looked great right before everything collapsed. So we have taken us off that trajectory, and we are putting ourselves back onto a sound trajectory.
Dude.
Girl.
Girl. Lady, let me tell you, girl. No, let's do the SNL thing. You ready? Let's do the SNL. Girl.
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 Girl. Yeah.
Girl. He knows. Look, everyone I know, everyone who knows him, and they say he's a nice guy, and everyone who's in finance and economists or whatever, they say Scott Besson knows better. They don't know why he's doing this, and for him to come out and say it was brightest before it got darker is a bunch of BS.
I think a lot of these people in this orbit of this circus know better, if not all of them know better. They are just for some reason afraid of Shitler. They're afraid of this old man who pulls his pants all the way up to his tits. They're afraid to be mean tweeted by him, and they're afraid of his little January 6th army. Look, I think, they all know better. Scott Besson knows better.
He does know better. Who was that that said Gwirl? GWORL. Gwirl.
Gwirl.
Okay. Speaking of,
but seriously, like if the gay world were flooded with that kind of thinking, like I would go to conversion camp.
Okay, I'm going to move it on because well, since we're on the subject of that, I mean, tell me what you think about this one because the streets are talking. Let's talk about Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson losing money means nothing, he says. Now this one is long. I'm going to play a little bit of it, but do you know Benny Johnson?
No, please tell me more.
I want to see if your DAR goes off. But I just found out about him since I've been in this streaming world. Here he is.
Losing money costs you nothing. This is just the reality of life. Were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character. In fact, you learn a lot of lessons actually by losing money. Losing your character costs you everything. Losing your country costs you everything. There are things you can't get back. The government can print more money, and it will. Sadly, that's just the reality. It's fugazi, it's fugazi. It's just that there's a boom and a bust every 10 years, and it's been that way since the invention of modern markets in the 1600s. The Dutch crash of 1649. You ever heard of it? It's just the way that it works. It's the way that like monetary policy has always worked. There's going to be ups and downs, especially as the table gets reset.
Yeah.
If you lose the character of your country, if your town gets hollowed out.
Oh yeah.
Give me that photo of that town, man.
Hollowed out.
Give me a photo of that town in West Virginia.
Yeah. Show me that.
Your town gets hollowed out.
That damn town.
And
okay,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
What is he
bruh.
talking about? He can just.
I
Print
have no idea. What is that? What was that?
Girl.
Girl back. What was that? You know, there's guys who like try to sound aggressively, try to sound not gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just heard.
For real.
I mean, yeah. Look, I don't know anything about him really.
I don't either. I
don't know anything about Bojo, but BJ. I don't know.
Listen, George, look, when your town is pulled out, you know, the government can just print more money. That's just the way it is.
Look, get out of my town. Don't get your hands off my town. Yeah. Losing money means nothing. Excuse me?
Producers, get the poll ready. The poll, not that poll. POLL, not POLE.
Yeah.
So we have two, you know.
Yeah, different kind of poll.
Yes. Okay. So
yeah, that was strange. That was really strange.
That was bizarre, right? He's
Yeah.
telling people it's okay if you don't have money, and as he's sitting there, he has tons of money, and he's saying the government just can print money. I mean, if we printed money, what would happen?
Look, we're dealing with a regime that is heavily invested in keeping Americans poor and stupid. You know, you don't want them to be too critical, too smart. You know, it is in Hitler and his camp's best interest to make sure that, you know, that's healthcare and education are so unattainable for a lot of people. They like it that way. They don't want people getting too smarter than them. Look how they treat people who make them look less smart than they think they are. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So here, this is two. I'm not looking on the YouTube, but do we have the poll up on the YouTube, guys? Because I'm not looking on there.
Yes, we do.
We do. Okay. So contestant number 1 is Howard Lutnick. Contestant number 2 is Scott Vicent. Contestant number 3 is Benny Johnson. Okay. You guys vote. Are you ready for contestant number 4, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm saving the best for last, maybe. The contestant number 4 is Bacha Ungar Sargon, columnist for the Free Press. Okay, and that is, what's her name again? Shoot.
The one who started the Free Press?
Yeah, the one she
was at the New York Times.
Oh, Weiss, Barry Weiss.
Barry Weiss, right.
Okay. He says Donald Trump is saving the working class. Here we go.
I find so frustrating about the conversation around tariffs is that we all agree on the problem. We all agree that the deindustrialization of America led to the downward mobility of the American working class, deaths of despair, people working multiple jobs and not being able to afford the American dream. We all agree that it is deeply unfair for the American middle class to be bearing the burden of unfair tariffs from other countries. We all agree that it is great for the president to have leverage in order to demand reasonable things, like that countries stop allowing fentanyl to murder 100,000 Americans every year, and that Mexico do its part to police its own border. And yet when somebody has the courage to show up and say to Wall Street, screw you, I am waging war. I'm waging class warfare on behalf of the American working class. And you elites in Wall Street, you do what you need to do, because I'm not going to stop fighting for the American working class. Suddenly, everybody is sitting around going, oh no, the stock market. Yeah, the stock market looks like that because the rich are punishing Trump for siding with the neglected and humiliated American working class over them. We have already seen these tariffs work, Pierce. The number of people crossing the southern border is at 0.
Okay, can you pause, please?
Fentanyl is at.
Can you pause? Can you please
Ow.
look at the people's
Ow.
faces on there? Look at Jank's face. And who was that woman? Where's she from? Arizona. What was her name again?
Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake. Look, even she's like, and you know she's the worst. She's like, okay, lady. Okay.
And then the other woman from Financial Times, I forget her name.
Yeah, she's actually pretty good. The one from Financial.
Yeah. She's very smart.
Is this woman for real? Like what she's saying doesn't make sense. That tariffs have worked before. Does she know? Tariffs have worked before when they're targeted. If it's targeted tariffs, like when Obama did, when he put tariffs on tires for Goodyear, that was like targeted just for the tires. And you know what I'm saying? Hey, go ahead.
She's not a great representative of the brand, because that was like, I think the paint started to peel off my walls, you know, like, geez, my dog ran in the other room. That was intense. I feel like I got a little ear raped just now.
Oh my gosh, you can't say that. Remember, you got to check. Remember the algorithm.
Oh, my ears were assaulted.
Okay, let's continue on with her. I want to continue with her.
Okay.
Record lows for the last 10 years. We have already seen $1.2 trillion in manufacturing invested in this country since January 21st. So they have already worked. Now, how long is Wall Street going to keep trying to punish this president for standing the American working class? I don't know, but I can tell you that the view from the street is people cannot believe that there is a president who is working for them, who is putting them first and telling Wall Street to go screw itself. Wall Street, which picked the Democrats for the last 3 election cycles in a row. That's what the real story is here. American Compass did a survey of just GOP voters. We know now that the majority of Americans who make under 100,000.
Okay, enough already. Jeez,
I gotta go lie down.
So, Batya.
That was a lot.
I know, that's contestant number 4.
That's a lot.
Ungar Sargon.
Sargon's always on my mind.
All the men's are gone. Okay.
That was good, Don. That's really, you a funny motherfucker.
I just did a spit take. Don. That was really good.
All the men's are gone. Damn.
Okay. Here's Charles Payne over at the Fox. What is this? Fox Business News. Here it is.
Well, BMW is going to rethink South Carolina because it's not going to import tariffed parts, engines from Germany, then to send those vehicles to export them. So again, it will mean if that plant stays open, it will mean fewer jobs potentially because they're going to make those vehicles somewhere else.
Well, where are they going to sell them now?
They sell them to China. They sell them to China and they sell them to Europe.
So every American customer who could buy a BMW could be replaced overnight by a Chinese customer.
They sell them they export them to China.
No, but I'm saying you can't make
they import the parts, which will be tariffed, and then they will export them from the United States where they're manufactured back to Europe, where they will be tariffed again, and then to China and nations around the globe, right? So these are the problems that a U.S. manufacturer faces because the parts are coming from somewhere else.
They can also just make the parts here. They can make the car.
No, they can't. Absolutely not. That's a fallacy.
It's impossible?
Yeah, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Have at it.
It wouldn't take that long. Anyway, as far as the payments are concerned.
To build German engines in the United States. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this guy he's trying to find a way Do you know what I'm saying, George?
Yeah.
But what about we can just do this? She's like, no. And then like
Nah.
Dagan or whatever she is, she's really super conservative. But I mean, she's on many things. I have seen her a couple of times. She's quite logical on some things, and other things I'm like, okay, that did not make sense. But she was logical there. She actually used her brain right there.
Yeah, first rule when you're talking about stuff like that, don't make me feel smarter than you, because that's trouble. Like, because I felt smarter than him right there, and that's a bad zone to be in. Because I don't claim to know a ton or understand a ton, but I understand, enough.
Yeah.
And I do know that the host, whatever her name is, kind of knew what she was talking about, and our friend Charlize did not. Charles was mistaken in his understanding of how the pieces, parts, and manufacturing works, and where parts come from, and then where the things go when they're done being assembled. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He needs a little schooling in that area.
I got a little surprise for you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna introduce. I'm just gonna show you. This is contestant number 6. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is she? I don't know if she's on the way. It's a her.
Okay.
The White House reaction to, as we just had those numbers up, global markets tumbling this morning and futures down sharply.
To anyone on Wall Street this morning, I would say trust in President Trump. This is a president who is doubling down on his proven economic formula from his first term. We saw wages increase. We saw inflation come down. We had a Trump energy boom. We had the largest tax cuts in history. And that's exactly what the president intends to do following his historic announcement yesterday for reciprocal tariffs. It's the golden age rule for the golden age of America. And the United States of America is no longer going to be cheated by foreign nations around the world. And as the president declared yesterday, this is indeed a national emergency. We have a $1.2 trillion trade deficit and counting. We've had 90,000 factories close in the last couple of decades. Since 1997, Americans have been put out of 5 million manufacturing jobs.
So what do you think? Is she your favorite? Who's your favorite? Is it her or is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders?
She is, because she is. I mean, they both are, stone cold liars. But Caroline, spelled with a KKK, Caroline is really something special. Kara Swisher calls her Tracy Flick.
Yeah,
from Election, which is so good. I mean, that really kind of like drives it home. Yeah, Caroline is a real special. She's a real special one, and she really has that sort of. They all do this thing. Well, they all the ones we hear about do this thing where it's a real steamroller. It's a fire hose. You really can't get a word in edgewise, and that's part of the technique. That seems to be part of the tactic.
Mm-hmm.
They don't pause. They really steamroll the discourse. And also, I love how she is steamrolling and fire hosing bullshit. Meanwhile, like the graphic right in front of her are all these numbers, futures down, like everything's down, like.
But this is amazing. Everything Trump has been doing, like, oh my God, you guys, like, you don't understand. Like, this is like, and like, he's gonna save the country, and like, and like,
girl, no.
And look, let's see the graphic right in front of her. She's speaking. Let's see it.
It's all the numbers down. Everything's down. Everything's like loser, like headed to the tank. Yeah.
Let's see. Go put it up there again. I want to see it.
The White House reaction to, as we just had those numbers up, global markets tumbling this morning and futures down sharply.
We take down the Don Lemon.
Here we go.
To anyone on Wall Street this morning, I would say trust in President Trump. This is a president who is doubling down on his proven economic formula from his first term. We saw wages increase. We saw inflation come down.
Yeah.
You can put it back.
They're trying so hard to sell this. They're trying so hard to sell this as a positive. No, this is not a positive.
But the thing that gets me is they're trying to tell us like what we are seeing with our own eyes, feeling with our own feels.
Yeah,
hearing with our own ears. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have more.
That
money.
is
Your bank account. It's not lower. You have money in there. Go spend it. It's like, no, lady, I don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And January 6th was a tourist visit. Like what you're seeing here is not what you're seeing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It is amazing. The salesmanship at work here. It's amazing. Yeah.
Let me just show you just just how crazy this is. This is, I just want to show you some of this stuff. When you have lost, so well, Benny Johnson made, excuses for it. But when you lose Ben Shapiro, you know Ben Shapiro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you lose Ben Shapiro, you're in trouble. Here it is.
President Trump declared that it was, in fact, Liberation Day, his giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally. Trump's reciprocal tariffs impose hundreds of billions of dollars in new taxes on Americans, be the largest tax increase since the Revenue Act of 1968. One of the biggest tax increases on American consumers in the history of America. And it's going to cost American consumers. It will cost American producers who use inputs from other countries. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted immediately more than 1,000 points. The S&P 500 plummeted more than 3%. The NASDAQ plummeted almost 4.5%. There are real-world implications for this sort of stuff. Trade wars are, in fact, not good and not easy to win, particularly if you don't actually have a plan. It is predicated on a bad idea of how international trade works. A fundamental misunderstanding of trade deficits. Trade deficits they're an accounting procedure. Trade deficits have pretty much nothing to do with the health of an economy. I can name you a period in American history where there was a fairly large surplus in America's balance of trade. The entire Great Depression.
So there you go. I mean, he is a you-know-what rider for Trump. So.
Oh God. And he's every time I hear him talk, Don, I think of that guy from Beverly Hills Cop. You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Like that's exactly what he sounds like to me. We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
No, Eddie Murphy goes, I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
I've been hanging out with this dude too long. I'm not going to fall for no banana in my tailpipe. Yeah, that's exactly who Ben Shapiro sounds like. And every time I hear that guy talk, I think of a banana in the tailpipe. Anyway,
So as Ben was explaining,
when again, this is what we've been hearing about. If even I in what I tune into news-wise, what I have been hearing ever since Trump started bandying about with this word tariff, experts over and over and over again have been saying this is a tax on consumers. Like this is really it's been made very clear to me. And I don't understand why there is this allergy to expertise, whether we're talking about the economy, whether we're talking about vaccines, like,
it's an allergy No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, they want to remake America the way they want to have America. And so that requires, alternative facts. It requires an alternate reality. And that's what they're kind of seem to be creating here.
But it's an allergy for, as you said, facts. It's an allergy for reality. It's an allergy for arithmetic. It's, you know what I mean? And for reason, it's like, come on, guys. But that's why, like, when I hear someone like Dagan over on Fox saying like something that actually makes sense, I'm like, wow, maybe there is hope for some of these folks. I don't know. But I think that not that I think I know that there are reasonable, normal, old school Republicans who understand what's going on. This is not that. This is not who that is, right? These are like the diehard MAGA folks that will just, try to condone everything and make excuses for everything that he does. Even when you see the world economy going off of a cliff because of something that he's doing.
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares.
Really?
This is the vengeance tour. This is all payback to him. He's getting back at a country, a world that was mean to him, that wasn't nice to him. I mean, how many times does that term that phrasing come out of his mouth? So-and-so wasn't nice to me.
Yeah.
Okay. He's just throwing it back at us. So, yeah.
All right. So let's see who is winning among these guys. Producers, have they voted enough? Do we have enough?
Do you guys is there an active poll happening?
I know who's going to win on this one. It's not the person I want to win. What'd you say?
We have almost 1,300 votes on this one.
Oh,
I have
wow.
I have a feeling who will win.
I have a feeling who will win, but it's not the person I want to win.
Are you going to say who you want to win?
I will say who I want to win, but I don't know if I should say it now. No, I want to win this category, this round.
Right.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that thing in Hustler magazine when I was a kid and I would steal my brother's Hustler magazine. Look, don't give me that look. Like, and what's his name? Larry Flint would always have this thing called Asshole of the Month.
Yeah.
And this is what this is like. Who's the asshole of the week?
Well, that's what we said. The sour lemon of the week. That's what it's
a
called.
Sour lemon, but I mean, it's like we really owe a debt to Larry Flint here.
We do. Okay, so let's see. All right, and then so do we give? I think we should do these, right? And then we'll do the last person. Okay, so here we go. So the winner of round one was, producers. Who is it? Can you tell me?
It was Howard Lutnick. He won with 78%.
Not a surprise. Not a
Steve
surprise.
Bissent got 10%, and Benny Johnson got 12%.
That feels right.
That feels right. Okay. Do we have? What did Batya get?
Batya got 14%.
Okay.
Charles Payne got 5%, and Caroline Levitt got 81%.
Yeah. You knew that was going to happen. I wanted Charles Payne to win because he was like, pick me, pick me, pick me.
Yeah. He's a mess. He's a mess.
Yeah.
A hot, thirsty mess. But no, Caroline is pretty special in her horribleness. Yeah.
So you guys, now we go Howard Lutnick versus Caroline Bissett. You ready?
This is hilarious.
You have to make it a little bit different so that they don't get more. You'll see who it is.
Not
the Gong Show.
And I think that was the dating game.
Wasn't the Gong Show the original? That was the original, like America's Got Talent, or what was it? What's the
Yes, Make Me Laugh. Do you remember Make Me Laugh?
Yes, but it was the original. What was that? American Idol.
Yeah,
the Gong Show.
I used to love the Gong Show, and then Make Me Laugh, and people would just try to like keep a poker face while some clown or comic would just work his or her ass off and just to get the contestant to crack a smile. And I think you lost if you started to if you showed teeth.
Yeah. Now, as they are voting, let's talk about. I loved Make Me Laugh. Was not one of my. I love the Gong Show.
I love the Gong Show. Chuck Barris, come on.
Chuck Barris. I know. I would say, wait, is that Chuck Berry or Chuck Barris?
Barris.
I loved Match Game. Do you remember Match Game?
I sure did. Gene Rayburn. And I liked the. Did you catch any of the reboot with Alec Baldwin hosting? It was cute.
Was it good? Yeah.
It was cute. Yeah.
And then I liked.
And he even had that long microphone.
Do you remember? Oh, I love the long, skinny microphone. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember Tattletales with Bert? Was it Bert Convy, right?
Yeah.
What a handsome man he was.
I thought Bert was super handsome. Yeah.
Bert Convy. What else did we have?
We had The Price is Right, Match Game 76 and 77. And I loved all the contestants. I remember in Hollywood Squares. But Charles Nelson Riley.
Was hilarious.
Did I tell you my story about him?
Oh, tell me your story after this. Who was funnier, him or Paul Lynde?
That's really hard because those were our gay icons back in the time. Those were the gay icons. I used to work at Joe Allen as a waiter and a bartender, and Charles Nelson Riley would come in. He was directing the gin game with Charles Durning and Julie Harris. And Charles Nelson Riley would come in, and he used to call all the servers Cinderella. So we'd be going back and forth with trays, dishes. Run, Cinderella! Run, Cinderella! Run! With his ascot and a hat and the big glasses, like look. Run, Cinderella! And basically, it was like sexual harassment, but I mean, we didn't care because he was so goddamn funny.
I saw the biggest sexual harassment thing clip last night on the internets with Teddy Pendergrass. I mean, he was basically like just tongue kissing women on stage in front of
Wow.
It was crazy. Maybe I can. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But wait, wasn't that Charles Nelson Riley? Wasn't he in The Ghost of Mrs. Muir? Was that Charles Nelson Riley?
I don't know.
Oh! I think that was Charles Nelson Riley. Look it up, somebody.
Paul land. Paul for the win. Paul, why did Hell's Angels wear leather? Because taffeta wrinkles. Paul for the win. Why do chefs beat meat? Loneliness.
It was Charles
He
Nelson.
was wonderful.
Charles Nelson Riley was in The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, and all he did was the TV show. Because there was a movie, I believe, and he would just go, oh.
And like, mind you, like for the younger viewers out there, you have to understand that like this was a time in American culture and television where people, like women, especially, would look at Charles Nelson Riley or
Liberace.
Paul Lynde or Liberace and be like, they just hadn't met the right girl. They just hadn't met the right girl. I mean, that was really the thinking.
All right, so who do we have? Do we have the poll? Can we talk about who's gonna win between this two?
It's a really tough one because they're both pretty horrible. That's really.
Producers don't
Do you want the percentages, Don?
Oh, you want the
Okay, so Howard Lutnick comes in at 33%, Caroline Levitt 67%.
Oh my gosh, young lady, 67%.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, so that would be 67% if it's 33%.
She's got real Mean Girl vibes. I mean, I think that's part of the problem. She's real Mean Girl Heather vibes. Yeah.
But wait till you see who Caroline Levitt is up against. Are you ready for that? We had to bring him back because let's talk about the person who started all of this and aboard Air Force One. Here it is.
Like really, Mr. President.
How long will it take to get American manufacturing to where you would like to see it?
Well, let's say it's a 2-year process. You know, they start a plant and they're big plants. We're giving them approval to also, in many cases, to build the electric facility with it. So you have electric generation and the plant, and they're big plants. Now, the good news is a lot of money for them, and they can build them fast, but they're still very big plants. So I'd always say it would take a year and a half to 2 years. Mr. President.
Who has that long? That's like, again, that's like your car will be ready this time, or your house is going to be ready. We will fix your. By the way, where I'm visiting someplace and there's someone staying here saying we were supposed to be here for a day because our roof was being fixed, and we've been here for 3 days.
So the backdrop is real?
I'm not telling you. No, it's not. I'm not in Israel.
Smart ass. No. I will never. Well, maybe I should, but I feel like I don't think I can ever forgive the millions of people who elected to put that face and that voice in our lives for another 4 years, because it is so like just sort of in terms of like the wretch it induces. Oh God, this guy. Yeah, this is a tough call. So is it between him and Caroline Leavitt? Is that what we're saying?
It's between him and Caroline Levitt. That's it. It's down to Caroline
Levitt.
Let me just show you. So speaking of what you said, let's look at shoot.
500
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
5
But go ahead, you can play it now.
more at this point in a presidency. There are only 2 of them, right? There's Donald Trump, a 10% drop since he took office. The only one that matches it or exceeds it was George W. Bush back in 2001, a drop of 18%. This is it. This is the whole kit and caboodle since the S&P 500 was created as an index back in 1957. When you're one of 2 and we're talking about drops in the stock market,
All right, well, what makes this presidential plunge different than all other presidential plunges except for the fact that we reclined at this plunge?
Exactly right. We're right on the eve of Passover, so why not go with that? Again, we're going to look at these drops of 5% plus. What is so different about this versus the Bush plunge? Remember, it was the dot-com bubble, right? That was happening before George W. Bush took office. What did Donald Trump inherit? He inherited a bull market from
Did you
Joe
hear
Biden.
that?
Donald Trump is the only one to take a bull market and turn it into a bear market to such a degree that we're having a drop of 5% or more
In
at this
3
point.
months.
This is historically unprecedented. What
Less than
Donald
3
Trump,
months.
one man, it seems to me, has done to perhaps my favorite stock market index.
My economic mentor, my mentor in all things, Christine Romans, used to say,
Yeah, but Wall Street is not necessarily Main Street.
Main
That's not
Street.
necessarily true.
How has that sort of changed?
I mean, that has changed tremendously over the past few decades. I mean, what are we talking about? Americans who own stock. You go back to 1974, it was just 23%, either directly or indirectly. You look at where it is now. Now the clear majority of Americans own stock in one way or another, right? Their 401ks,
Okay, so
their
that's
Roth IRAs,
all right. So that's
etc.
his poll ratings are the lowest, the lowest.
And Don, correct me if I'm wrong, but I gotta say, the Republicans historically have been very good at selling this fairy tale that they're better at the economy, and that never seems to be the case.
No, that's the facts. We just talked about that a couple of days ago. That it's
Why do people keep believing it?
Because they're better at messaging. I mean, if you look at it, what Bill Clinton said, since I guess modern recorded history, that they've been recording such things. Democrats have created 50 million jobs. Republicans have created 1 million.
Yeah.
It's crazy. People, I don't know. I don't know. I think now in this environment, it's just brainwashing. This is my favorite. I'm going to play. This is one of my favorite people in the world ever. Speaking to someone that she used to work with, and I love her. And he's explaining about how even he was bamboozled and he doesn't like it. And this is Jim Cramer's on with my very lovely dear friend, Aaron Burnett.
Par, you go 10 on a. But I went deep on the numbers today, and the numbers did not make any sense. And I was actually. You made it. I was doing like bananas in Vietnam. You did Cramerica. Well, I just said, it's one of these things where if I'm doing 100 billion and you're letting me do 10 billion and I'm letting you do 100 billion, there was a way to be able to make it work. But the numbers that they did, and they had this ridiculous. I mean, that was the chart that they had with the mathematical equation. I mean, are you kidding me? How about just like it looked like an Einstein. I know. How about the fact that it was just wrong? Yeah. And what bothered me, Aaron, was that they really did over and over again. The president said, "Listen, it's going to be reciprocal. So you do it, we do it, and that was going to be so good." And I really believed in it. And I feel like a sucker tonight. Because I am not a free trader, and I do not believe in free trade. And I was just as tough, if not tougher, than his people. But they screwed it up, and they did it a totally ill-advised way. And I was very let down as someone who really, truly believes that free trade is awful for the American working person. This is what they came up with. Geez, come on, have some gumption, have some math. I mean, how in the world do they do that after all of this? Jerome Powell, they assured us over and over again, Aaron, that they were going to do the thing that would make it so that the tariffs would come down and the countries that were bad actors would change their ways. And then Israel decides to get rid of tariff. And they tariffed them anyway. Vietnam decides to cut their tariff, and they still got the highest tariff. It was such a shame because they missed the opportunity, and now they have to pay the price. And it's funny, too, because none of this stock market, none of this had to happen. And I feel bad because a lot of people lose money when this happens. I hope people just be calm, be constructive. But the way that they handled it was so Bush League that I was surprised. And President Trump has people who around him know these things. And
there you go. They know. They know. All right.
I can't believe we voted again. Not we. I mean, that America voted again for such a asshole.
If Caroline, I thought you were done with your. Sorry.
No, I'm so done.
Okay, if Caroline Lovett wins, I'm gonna know something. Okay, so look at someone said. Did you see what someone said? I'm gonna put this back up, guys. I'm out, but my vote is
bullshit, Barbie.
Look at this.
Don is at Marla. No, God.
I am.
God.
I totally am.
Oh, God. No, what I learn about as this election comes in, or this vote here comes in, my big takeaway, Don, from the election is that Americans seem to be not as bright and not as nice as I had hoped. Is that awful to say?
No, it sounds awful, but it's true. I just did a thing about how Americans are getting dumber, and there's evidence to show it.
And meaner.
Yeah. Hey, Peter, tell them we worked on this together. How Americans are becoming dumber, and look what they're doing to the Department of Education. He loves the poorly educated.
Yes, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like they don't want people to be too smart or too sophisticated. It's in their best interest to have a dumb electorate.
Hard not
Yeah.
to vote for DT, someone says. Not the two Dons hanging out. Hell, can you imagine? When I've been there, when I drive by them, I like cringe. When I walk by Trump Tower, I go, ooh. My mom
Every
crossed.
time when you walk past, there's a plaque in the door, and of all the sort of venues that are inside, like the cafe, the bar, and the candy shop or whatever, it's Trump this, Trump that. It's like he can't get enough of his own name.
I don't walk by. I go on the other side of the street.
It's probably a smarter bet, but sometimes I like to go past the windows at Tiffany's.
Oh yeah, and Gucci's right there too, right?
Yeah, Gucci's in Trump Tower, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is. I thought they were going to leave after. Okay, so do we have a vote yet or no?
We have a poll up. Yes.
The poll is up. Can you talk to him? Tell him about the people are getting dumber. It sounds mean, but it's the truth.
No, it's absolutely true. And what's so scary about it is it's not just, year over year SAT results have gone down a bit or something along those lines. The Financial Times has done a really interesting investigation going back more than a decade and identifying that folks globally, their cognitive reasoning has declined precipitously, particularly in the last 5 or so years. And when I say cognitive reasoning, I mean, yes, sort of their ability to do math, yes, their ability to read and write and have reading comprehension skills. But it's even more basic than that. It's just their ability to actually think and problem solve has gone down dramatically in just the past couple of years. And I'm sure some of it was accelerated by the pandemic, but according to the Financial Times, they think it's just phones, technology, AI. We are literally dumbing ourselves down. And when I say that, I don't even necessarily mean it as a hit on MAGA or a hit on Trump, although it can certainly be perceived that way. It's all of us are willingly sort of slouching into stupidity, to paraphrase my dear Joan Didion.
All right.
Slouching into stupidity.
Can we go? Can we do this? Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. What do we have?
We have Ms. Caroline Leavitt with 18% and our orange God King, Sweet Potato Hitler, at 82%.
You can't say that.
Sorry.
Hitler?
Remember the algorithm. Okay.
Slave to the algorithm.
So the winner
Slave to the algorithm.
This week's Sour Lemon is guess who? DJT. How do you feel about that? Do we pick the right? Did the Lemonheads pick the right person?
A fish stinks from the head. Like, he's the head. You know what I mean? And think about it. If he were to expire,
yeah,
or if he did not live to finish this term, there's no one. It's a vacuum under him. All their eggs are in that basket. All their overpriced eggs are in that basket of him. Because JD Vance is a husk. There's no personality there. Like, there's nothing.
Right.
There's nobody else. Like, that's it. And so he is if there is one sour lemon or asshole of the month, whatever, like, it's gonna be like him a lot. Because he is the source of all of this. He is the source of all of this.
Oh boy.
Or I should say he is the the one who sort of gives the permission slip.
He does. He really does.
For people to be coarse, to be mean, to be racist, all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one. Well, if he can talk like that, then I can too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said he's a winner every week. Was that Maureen? Who was it? It was that Beth. He's a winner every week. And look, that's why we took him out of the running for a while, because he would win every week. So we put him back in because he caused this week. He was the cause behind it. So I felt like we had to put him in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Do you think Elon's on his way out?
That's the reporting. I don't know if it is true, but here's what I do believe. I do think that it's hurting his business. He knows that he's got to get back to it. Look, I think Tesla's going to be fine in the long run. Maybe, I don't know, who knows. And then, but I also think Trump is like, okay, enough already. You're dragging down my approval rating. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a drag on the brand. Yep.
He's a drag on the brand. Okay, you're not, though. Where do we find you, Mr. George Hahn?
Oh, I'm at georgehahn.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter. It comes out every Friday. I'm also on Instagram at George Hahn, and I'm also on loving Blue Sky, by the way. It just sort of feels like vintage Twitter.
You would love Blue Sky because you're such a blue dog Democrat.
No, in terms of if it's I don't want to take up too much time, but it's just in terms of curating a news feed of sources, and you can create a list, and it's like it's the first thing I fire up in the morning because I just need like the list of what happened
without the toxicity of Twitter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I can get that from Blue Sky. So yeah.
Someone said bring George back. Oh, maybe. George, next time I bring you back, I'm going to be outside. I'm kidding. I'll be outside again. Last time was last summer. I was in my backyard and you were on.
Yes.
That was,
I remember.
I was outside. We outside.
Remember.
George, thank you. I'll see you.
Thank you. All right. See you.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too.
You're not our sour. Oh, wait. Guess what, George?
What?
Are you gone yet? I forgot. We have our zesty lemon.
Ooh.
Wait, here's our zesty lemon.
I love zest.
John.
Not the soap.
Would the senator yield for a question? Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no. I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
And George, that's where we will leave it. With Cory Booker being our zesty lemon of the week. I don't even have time for comment because I have to go. I've got to be somewhere at 6:30 and it's 6:10 and my husband is looking at me like, you got to go.
Tell Tim I said hi.
We're going to get left. There's a bus. I'm at a birthday party. That's where I am.
All right.
And the background is real. So I'm at a dear friend's birthday party. It's one of the big years. I won't say what it is. But anyways, I love you, George. I love you. Heads. I'll see you guys. Bye, George. I'll see you guys maybe this weekend. Probably not because I'm here celebrating. But if not, I'll definitely see you at 10 a.m. on Monday. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Make sure you, right? We need that, right? And out here in these independent streets, and make sure you become a member. I really appreciate it. And go to donlemon.com. George, are you on my Substack? Go to donlemon.com. It'll take you right to my
I will get on your Substack. I'm also on YouTube as well.
Yeah, go check it out. Okay, guys, I'll see you. And as I always say, turn the TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.